Good evening and welcome to episode 75. As always, we will start with our gratitude attitude. So, if you would please gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, feel all your stress melt away from your body. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely let yourself go. Now, think of one thing that happened in the past week which you are thankful for. Once you identified that, think about why you are thankful. Now let us set it free. If you're by yourself, say it out loud what you are thankful for and why. If you are with someone, tell it to each other. All right. We are going to continue with our karma series today. In previous sessions, we talked about the definition of karma and the 4 characteristics of karma. Next topic is the types of karma and its effects. There are 2 types of karma: virtuous or positive karma, and non-virtuous or negative karma. So let's begin with non-virtuous or negative karma. There are just about 1 million negative karmas one can create, right? However, all of those mostly fall into 10 negative karmas. They are killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, hurtful speech, idle chatter, covetousness, malice, and holding wrong views. Out of these, the first 3, killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, fall into what is called bodily actions, physical actions, if you will. Lying divisive speech, hurtful speech, and idle chatter are so-called verbal actions. I do want to point out that when you write an email or something on social media, even though you're not talking out loud, that is also considered speech and falls into this verbal action category. And then the last three, covetousness, malice, and holding wrong views, are mental actions. So let's begin with bodily negative karma. So we think I have not killed anyone, so I'm good. Let's slow down a bit. If we killed a mosquito with an intention to kill because it was bugging us, that's killing action no different than committing first-degree murder. Think about it. If we accidentally killed a living being, then it does not have any negative karma attached to it, though. There needs to be 4 factors present for us to suffer the consequences of a negative action: the object, the intention, preparation, and completion. So let's break that down. In our mosquito example, the mosquito is the object, right? We have to identify that I want to kill this mosquito. Our intention arrives as soon as it starts bugging us, right? It bites us and like, I'm going to kill you. We prepare to kill by using a squatter or some other object, even with our hands sometimes, right? And the action is complete when we actually kill the mosquito. So a few points of note here. Let's say you're trying to kill a mosquito. You identified the mosquito. And there's a fly next to it. And by accident, you end up killing that fly instead of the mosquito. In this case, you do not suffer consequences because you did not kill a mosquito. And you did not intend to kill that fly. Also, point to bear in mind that if we direct someone to kill a mosquito for us, and they actually do kill that mosquito, both of us suffer the consequences of that negative action. And that's a very important point, right? We cannot say, I did not kill the mosquito, so I did not suffer the consequences. In fact, in this case, both the person who gives the instruction and the person who kills will suffer the negative consequences of killing. So as you know, there's a war going on in Ukraine right now. So the soldiers who kill for sure suffer the negative consequences. The commanders and generals and the leaders actually suffer a lot more of those consequences. The leaders are responsible for the negative actions of all the people underneath them. Talk about overwhelming negative karma, right? So being a powerful politician is the worst case scenario because one ends up suffering from negative actions of so many underlings underneath them, below them. Similarly, if a group of people decides to perform a negative action only through one person, the entire group will suffer negative consequences of that karma. Something to be mindful of. So for us to have created intention, there has to be 3 factors at work. One is discrimination, 2 determination, and 3 delusion. What does that mean? Well, the discrimination means identifying the living being we intend to kill. For example, if you're a hunter and go out to hunt an animal, but accidentally kill a human being. The intention is not there. So in this case, you do not get the negative consequences of killing an animal or a human being because you did not discriminate, right? The next factor needs to be present for intention is determination. So once you identify, let's say deer you want to hunt, and you carry out the plan to kill that deer. So you get your hunting gear, you get your traps and whatnot. That's determination, right? That, hey, not only I want to kill, but I'm getting ready to kill. And the last factor that needs to be present for intention is delusion. Our intent only occurs if we are motivated by one of the delusions, such as anger, attachment, hatred, etc. For example, a soldier kills out of hatred for the enemy. A thief, on the other hand, kills out of attachment for valuables and so on. In our previous example of mosquitoes, we kill a mosquito out of anger because it bit us, right? So in that case, you may say, you know what, everyone kills out of delusion. There's always something present, right? Well, not necessarily. Let's say someone kills out of compassion. Say animal is hurting and suffering, and there is no way to save that animal. And killing that animal only takes it out of its misery. Killing out of compassion will not result in negative karma. Even if there's intention there, even if there's object there, right? Even if there's determination there. Now let's look at the another bodily action, negative action called stealing. Again, we think we never stole anything from anyone. But let's examine this a little bit deeper. If we ever took our work product from one job to another, for example, that's a form of stealing. Not paying our taxes or defaulting on our loans is a form of stealing. Stealing means anything that is not freely given to us. If we manipulate, bribe, blackmail to get something, that is stealing. As described before, we must identify the item we want to steal, have the determination and delusion in order for us to suffer negative consequences. So here's an interesting point. Let's say we borrowed a book from someone. We have every intention to returning that. We refer to that book as someone else's book. In this case, there is no stealing, right? Because we borrowed it, we know we're going to give it back. But let's say a few years pass by and we never return it. And now we consider this book as our book. As soon as that happens, we have completed the negative karma of stealing. And we'll have to suffer the appropriate consequences when the time comes. Sexual misconduct is the last type of body's negative karma. If we are in a committed relationship or have taken celibacy vows, then sexual misconduct is any other person. If we are not in a committed relationship, then sexual misconduct is if someone else's partner we want or we have that sex without consent. So those are all what's known as bodily negative karma. We'll pick up on verbal negative actions next week. In today's meditation, as always, we'll begin with settling down at our hearts. Once we are settled, let's contemplate the effects of negative karma. How negative karma will bring future suffering. We'll also contemplate that our negative karma can ripe at any time in the future, not just in this lifetime, but in any of our future lives. Once we contemplate that, we make a determination that we'll abandon negative karma. We then hold that determination single pointedly as long as we can. If we lose our determination, we go back to contemplation that our negative karma will bring future suffering, right? And then bring that determination back. So that's the plan. If you are ready, let's get into our meditation posture. Get into a cross-seated position. If you are sitting in a chair, make sure your legs are straight. Keep your back straight, spine upright, shoulders leveled. Gently close your eyes. Keep your jaws, your mouth open, so any tension in your jaws dissipates. Put your palms in your lap, right or left, thumbs gently touching each other. Now, take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax all your muscles. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, feel all your tension drip away. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely relax your body. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention at your nostril for about a minute or so on your own. Now, bring your attention at your heart. Imagine everything that happened before this moment melts into light and disappears. Things that have not yet happened are not real anyway. So it's just this moment. Enjoy the peaceful nature of this moment. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Now, let's contemplate. Every negative action we perform will bring some kind of suffering in the future. As the time goes by, its potentiality will increase. We don't know when it will ripen. It may be tomorrow, next year, or the next life. Only thing certain is that it will bring suffering someday. Contemplate that for a minute. Now, let's make a determination. I will stop negative karma. Single pointedly focus on that determination. If you lose your focus, go back to contemplation. That my negative karma will bring future suffering. and then single pointedly focus on your determination. I will stop my negative karma. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions? No questions.
This is good. I think, this is the same thing we went over in Vipassana too about the negative karma. So kind of getting the same kind of, and they make you take some of these vows before you start it. So probably um, uh, a good way. But the way you explain about the mosquito and the thing, it was very refreshing to kind of see that perspective. It's a different way of looking at things because I I still kill mosquitoes and so now you're gonna make me pause now.
So you're the second person I had that effect on. My brother and I had this discussion. He, I mean, he's a gentle soul. He helps so many people, but he used to kill his mosquitoes with a vengeance. Okay. I mean, he would just he would get into his position, and one day we had this discussion, and and I'm happy to say he stopped doing that. So you're the second person.
Yeah. It is give you a pause. Definitely, I think you can live without it, especially.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
Yeah.
my perspective has changed over the last 5 years, learning these things. Like when I go for a walk outside, right? If there is an ant or something, I make it a conscious decision to look for it and kind of step over it. I mean, away from it, right?
Mhm.
Before I won't do that, right?
Mhm.
I would just walk, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, you know, like Dar and I had this discussion. She's like some cats coming and are doing her business in my yard. And I said, whatever you do to get rid of it, right? Just don't, you know, let's not do something to kill
True.
the
Yeah.
animal, right? Or if you
Mhm.
put something smell makes her go away, that's fine, right?
Mhm.
So it changes your perspective for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I would
No,
I would
even
be interested. Go ahead.
yeah. No, even this is like killing is the one that's something you can control. I think there are other ones which are really like sort of give you a lot of pauses in terms of your day-to-day actions and stuff, and always working through all your actions through those filters is just takes a conscious intentional effort.
That's the thing, right? Because a lot of time we are in this uh, self-drive mode, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Where we're not even thinking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we
And I wonder sometimes like how our brain is wired or apu magaj ke knows,
That's
like
right.
our thoughts are shaped in a way that we have this single most important thing we drive towards it, and then forget about everything else around us. And it's just one of those things. I don't know, it's a human evolution or how it is, but
And it's your genes. It's human elevation. It's your genes, right? I mean, human brain is wired for negativity.
yeah.
Okay, because our for longest time goal in life was to survive,
Mm,
right? So we took everything as a threat. So it's always a threat assessment, if you will, right?
mhm.
And it was one thing when there were lions chasing us. I get that, right? But that's not happening anymore. But the brain has not yet recognized that. So because of that, the smallest thing, an email comes and we think it's life and death,
Oh yeah. Tell me
right?
about it. Yep.
And I have this discussion with my kids also. It's like, sometimes my daughter calls me and she's like, oh, this is not happening. I said, okay, 5 years from now, if this thing didn't happen, did anybody care? Right? And that kind of changes their perspective,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
That's
it
great.
is. I would like to see, you know, whatever you learned about these negative karmas and
Mhm.
how that is different. I would like to know what kind of differences there are. If you would like to do that at the end of our negative karma session.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think, before you go into the Vipassana, they make you take these vows about killing, stealing, lying, all those things, right?
Right.
Sexual misconduct, all those things you should not. So it's called Shila or something called, I think, I forgot the Pali word for that, but
Okay.
you have to do that. And, it's about, having that restraint during that 10 days. It's more important because, you're going through this whole mental surgery in that 10 days.
Yep.
That's what they call it. They call it mental surgery. And all your bad karma comes out of your thing. તમે જે ખોટું બોલ્યા હોય બધું તમને યાદ આવશે ને a lot of people go through those phases during those meditation time,
Yep.
and reflect on that, and I'm still learning the Niropai. I'm still a student. I just don't know enough. So I continue to practice and probably do a lot of sittings over the Sundays with the other Vipassana yogis, and just sit down for 1 hour, and just trying to practice as much as I can. But I see the difference in last 2 to 3 months. I have calmed down a bit.
Nice.
The my immediate needs of getting certain my own little karmas are getting improved, so I'm going in the right direction.
Good. That, and that's all we can ask for, right? I mean, this is a
Yeah,
journey we are all learning, right? No, I
yeah,
mean, unless you are enlightened, we are all learning, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, that's the key, is to make sure that we keep progressing on this path,
Yep.
and it makes us a better person, if nothing else.
Yeah, and I one of the things is like the constant among all of those is our death, and you're working backwards from that. You do want to look at this life and says, I may at least try to karyo, right?
And and
To what is it?
and that's the thing, right? Because this is a cyclical thing, and I mean, I had more than my fair share of bad karma, right? So unless I'm able to purify that, I'm not getting out of this cycle in this lifetime. But at least whatever progress we can make, hopefully we can continue, right, in the next cycle.
Exactly. Exactly. And no, no, no. You are in last 5 years, Niroba, you have earned a good karma. So don't worry about it. I'll get bumped for that.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
uh, One quick housekeeping thing. We will be off next week. So we'll pick this up in 2 weeks. And I'll
Sounds
I'll
good.
make sure I email it in next couple of days.
Sounds good. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks,
Good night.
everybody. Thanks, Chirag.
Thank you. Thank you.